how long has this been going on? And I was like, I've been smoking since I was working at Pizza Hut in like July. And he was like, okay. He was like, you've been using your lunch money, I assume, then. And I was like, yeah, I've been using my lunch money. I go get cigarettes from QTs. And, you know, if you grew up in my neighborhood, or if you went to Central High School in Little Rock, you know what I'm talking about when I say QTs. That's where I got my cigarettes from up until I was 18, 19 years old. And even after that, I was getting cigarettes over there because that's just where you go. It was the closest place to go. And so my dad said, well, I tell you what. He was like, that's okay. I can't say anything to you about it because I started smoking cigarettes when I was 15. I don't want that sort of thing for you, but I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and tell you not to do it when, you know, that's the same time I started doing it, right around how old you are now. He's like, but I tell you what, if you're using your lunch money to get cigarettes, you use your lunch money to get cigarettes and you don't eat that day. Don't come asking me and your mama for anything else. We set aside money to give you guys to eat. If you decide to do something else with it and you don't eat, then goddamn it, you don't eat. That's first of all. Second of all, don't be out here asking anybody else for no cigarettes. You buy your own cigarettes because you are a man. If you cannot afford to have your own cigarettes, you cannot afford to have any cigarettes, and you cannot afford to smoke. Third, your mama don't know. If she finds out, I have to beat your ass like I don't know. Like I didn't know, rather. And if you tell your mama that I knew and she finds out, I'm going to beat you even worse. Now give me a cigarette. He took my cigarette. He took like a few of my cigarettes because respectfully, they his. He took a few of my cigarettes out and he walked off. And like I just stood there like for about 5 minutes just looking stupid. But, you know, it was an important lesson that he taught me. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you do something in life, and my dad was always about this, when you do something, you have to be willing to suffer whatever the consequences are. I told that story because that sums my father up, and that's pretty much him in a nutshell. And I know a lot of people are going to take from that story that my father allowed me to smoke cigarettes, but that's not what the story is about. The story is about accountability, respecting your wife, respecting your woman, and it's just, I mean, that meant everything to me, and it means everything to me. You know, my dad is that's just him. He's straightforward, he's accountable, and he loves his wife, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need more people like that in the world. We need more men like that in the world. I don't think that it's anything that my dad wouldn't do for my mom. I don't think it's anything, you know, he wouldn't do for me and my brothers and my sister when we were growing up. You know, I come from a meager background. I come from meager surroundings, but as a child, my mother and father wouldn't let me believe that, and they made sure that we didn't know that. You know, and they made sure that the kids in the neighborhood didn't know that either. And, you know, it's much appreciated. They provided a really, really awesome life for me and my brother in the hood, around the corner from Central High School. And it was much appreciated. It was much due to my father and his own upbringing and his beliefs and his background. And I wouldn't be the man that I am. You know, what little man I am, you know, I'm still not comparable to him, but I wouldn't be this if it wasn't for him. So I'm much appreciative, and I love that guy to death. Real quick, you know, I want to stop right there, but I want to give a shout out to my former co-host, y'all, Jody_LO3E, also known as Joelle. She's moved on to do a blog called The Synopsis. She's moved on to bigger and better things. So we want to, you know what I mean? We want to show her some love. She was a big deal here with the 2020 Vision podcast, and she's still my good friend. And I just want to make it a point to say I wish her nothing but success in her ventures. So, a big shout out to the Ugly Reggie blog. Hey, go check my boy out. He's doing some interviews, I think, with some local Arkansas talent. He's doing some really, really, really good work. Shout out to my boy Dr. Thug King. Follow Dr. Thug King on Instagram as such, Dr. Thug King, spelled the way it sounds. He's enlightening us on community events in Little Rock, Arkansas, and we really need to show him some support because he's the first person who brought to my attention that we are stronger together than we are apart. So I want to make sure I highlight that young man and what he's doing in the community. To my dog Ronell Williams, hey, stop posting pictures of your ass on Facebook, bro. Hey, but shout out to you anyway. Hey, no publicity is bad publicity, so I respect it. Shout out to the Corporate Streets podcast, Journey and TJ, my dogs. Very successful podcast, doing their thing over there. Shout out to This Effing Guy podcast, TFG. That is a podcast that includes my homie T-Link. He and I used to work together for Verizon Wireless, and he's a good friend of mine, and he's doing good work as well. He's I think he's in like 45, 46 episodes. Shout out to him. He's doing it big over there. And I really, 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 really appreciate everybody for listening this week. I appreciate everybody for listening whenever you listen. Good looking out. It's much appreciated. I need it. I need that success. 100.